our podcast. I'm Fiona Yolanda Putri with my friend Reoni. Today we will discuss a very famous and controversial case, the cyanide ice coffee case involving Jessica Kumala Wongso and Wayan Mirna Salihin. This case has once again shocked Indonesia and attracted public attention with a various speculation, theories, and questions about what really happened after the release of documentary about the case. Is Jessica truly guilty? What were the motives behind this action? And how did the legal process unfold? In this podcast, we will delve deeper into various aspects of this case, starting from the background of the individual involved, the chronology of events, to the analysis of evidence and the trial process. We will also hear from legal experts, psychology, as well as witnesses directly involved in the case. Without further ado, let's begin our podcast on the cyanide ice coffee case.
First, let's discuss the backgrounds of the two main figures in the cyanide ice coffee case that shocked Indonesia a few years ago.
Now, let's move on to the chronology of events that are the core of cyanide ice coffee case. We will look step by step at how this tragic incident occurred.
On January 6, 2016, Wayan Mirna Salihin met with two of her friends, Jessica Kumala Wongso and Hani Cui Tabet, at Cafe Oliver located in Grand Indonesia, Jakarta. This meeting was intended to be a casual reunion among old friends. Jessica arrived early at the cafe and ordered drinks, including Vietnam iced coffee for Mirna. When Mirna and Hani arrived, they sat together and began chatting. Not long after Mirna drank the Vietnamese iced coffee ordered by Jessica, she started to feel unwell, experiencing soreness and breath and convulsions. Mirna was immediately taken to Abdi Waluyo Hospital, but unfortunately she could not be saved and was pronounced dead. The hospital later found the coffee Mirna drank contained cyanide and highly lead patient. The police conducted an investigation and found evidence indicating that Jessica Kumala Wongso was the one who allegedly put cyanide in Mirna's coffee. Jessica was then arrested and tried for murder. The trial process lasted several months, with various arguments and evidence presented by both parties. Ultimately, the court found Jessica guilty and sentenced her to 20 years in prison. This case became highly controversial and very significant public attention both in Indonesia and Australia, where Jessica once lived. Various speculation and theory emerged regarding and motive and evidence in this case.
The motive behind the cyanide ice coffee case. 1. Jessica felt that Mirna had stolen at the attention of her boyfriend, Aftan. The relationship between Jessica and Mirna deteriorated due to different opinion and interests. 3. Jessica wanted to be the center of attention and eliminate her rival, feeling that Mirna was more popular and successful. 4. It was rumored that Mirna had revealed information that made Jessica feel involved in a sexual scandal in Australia, which then became a reason for revenge. Let's dive into the trial proceeding of Jessica Kumala Wongso. In the initial phase, the public prosecutor present the charge against Jessica accusing her of premeditated murder of Wayan Mirna Salihin by using cyanide poison. The prosecutor stated that Jessica had motive of resentment and emotional distress towards Mirna, This case involved various types of evidence, including a witness testimony, CCTV footage, and forensic analysis. Let's examine these pieces of evidence one by one. Firstly, CCTV footage from Cafe Oliver showed that Jessica arrived early than Myrna and Hani. Jessica was in ordering drinks and sitting at the table where they were supposed to meet. This footage became one of the primary bases for asserting that Jessica had the opportunity to put cyanide in Myrna's coffee. Thirdly, forensic analysis indicate that the Vietnamese iced coffee consumed by Myrna contained little level of cyanide. This becomes strong evidence that Myrna's death was caused by cyanide poisoning. However, on the other hand, Jessica's defense team around this evidence was insufficient to prove Jessica's guilt. They contend that there was no direct evidence showing Jessica putting cyanide in the coffee and that there might be other possibilities. Yet not yet considered, one of the points raised by the defense was that no trace of cyanide were found on Jessica's hands or personal belongings, which could indicate that she did not come into contact with the poison. Additionally, as defense critiques the forensic analysis method used, stating that there were procedural shortcomings in the testing and reporting of lab results. The trial lasted several months with various arguments and evidence presented by both sides. The media intensively covered every development in the trial, and the public closely followed the proceedings. Ultimately, on October 27, 2016, the judge concluded that Jessica Kumala Wongso was guilty of premeditated murder of Wayan Mirna Salihin. Jessica was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The judge said that despite some gaps in the evidence, the overall evidence presented was sufficient to convict Jessica. This case continued to spur debate among the public and media, with differing views on the fairness and integrity of the judicial process. Next, we will discuss the opinion of legal and psychology experts that will help us understand the validity and strength of evidence in this case. Here are the opinions from legal and psychology experts regarding the cyanide iced coffee case. Opinions from legal experts. 1. Prof. Simon Andre Budd, a law professor from the University of Sydney who criticized the evidence handling process in this case. He stated that there were several holes in the evidence, particularly in the handling of forensic evidence. According to him, there was no direct evidence showing Jessica putting cyanide into the coffee. 2. Marcella Octavia and Moody Rizky Shalendra Putra. They reviewed the judge's consideration in sentencing Jessica. They emphasized the importance of courtesy, justice, and utility in legal process. Opinion from psychology expert. 1. Antonia Ratih, a psychology expert who attended a trial of this case. She noted that Jessica's calm demeanor when Myrna was convulsing seemed off. According to her, as a friend, Jessica should have reacted with the same anxiety as Hani, who showed signs of worry. 2. Fitri Novia Heriani added that Myrna's convulsions after drinking the coffee were emergency situation. And Jessica Cumberland seemed suspicious.
Jessica Kumalo Wongso was imprisoned for 8 years in the Saint Escoffier case. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison on October 27, 2016, but received remission that allowed her to be eligible for parole on August 18, 2024. Jessica was supposed to serve 20 years in sentence, but she managed to revenge a total remission of 15 months and 30 days for good behavior during her imprisonment.
Thank you for listening to our podcast today. We have discussed in depth the cyanide ice coffee case involving Jessica Kumala Wongso and Wayan Mirna Salihin, covering the background, the chronology of events, the case motive, and the trial process, and the analysis of evidence along with expert opinions. This case highlights the importance of managing emotion, the dangers of uncontrolled jealousy and ambition, the need to be mindful to our words to avoid hurting others, and the complex life of judicial system, as well as the necessity for strong and clear evidence in legal proceeding. It also reminds us of importance of a careful and thorough approach when handling criminal case involving forensic evidence. This serves as a reminder for us of us about the significance of justice and integrity in law enforcement. Thank you once again, and see you next time. Stay vigilant, critical, and passionate in the pursuit of truth.
Thank you once again and see you next time.
Stay vigilant, critical, and passionate in the pursuit of truth. I'm Fiona Putri,
And I'm Rayoni.
signing off. Goodbye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.